So we started looking at where we could hunt, and one of the places we decided was up near Stafford, and there was a big area that was like a bay, and I think it was near where George Washington and the French Army had gone. They had met there and then taken boats to go to battle Cornwallis at the end of the war, and it was if you went straight out, you hit the Potomac, and if you made a right just before you made it to the Potomac, you went into Potomac. What was it? Yeah, Potomac Creek, and there was Confederate activity in camps and the Union stuff along that creek, and so uh, there was a site when we put the boat into the water near Quiet Creek. There was like a lagoon just down the creek from that where we would launch, and I kept looking over there, thinking, man, right behind it, right behind the beach, was it looked like there was a colonial house site, just by the trees that were there. And it turned out I was right. So one day, I told the guy, let's hunt that, pull up and I'll jump out and hunt the beach and see if there's anything there real quick. And so I jumped out, and first signal I dug was a large scent. It was real green right up on the beach. Wasn't even that deep. And I got a deeper signal, and I dug this metal king tut. The Egyptian guy from Egypt. It was made out of brass and it was painted, but it looked very old. And so the next week, we decided to hunt up there again, and the guy I was with dug a beautiful, I think it was a something like a 1721 2 real, I think. And so I was looking around and I noticed that right where the creek went by the lagoon, there was a lot of water being stirred up, and so I went over there, and there was this gravel bed, and I got right off the bat I got a signal, and the gravel was just moving all the time, and it was like the creek, the water flow was just pushing, the gravel around, and I scooped about 10 times, and finally got the signal in my scoop. And when I looked, it was let's see, this is what it was. It was a 1755 cut 8 real, and I was pretty excited. I thought, man, that's pretty cool. So I guess I was in the Northern Virginia Relic Hunters Club, and they met at the Elks Lodge, and I'm not sure where they're going now. They might be still back there. I've been thinking about rejoining, but I was there, and I used, a lot of people would bring their, finds of the week or the month, that, some good finds that they found that month, and bring them. So I'd brought a bunch of coins, and I think I'd found another real somewhere else. And so this guy approached me and said that he was a coin dealer, and he used to come to the club, and he was interested in colonial coins. He was a colonial coin collector. So I had about 5 coins. So I said, well, this is the coins I found this week. I think I had a couple Seat at Liberty coins too. And the guy's eyes just about bugged out of his head. And so he goes, "You don't know what you got, do you?" And I go, "Well, tell me." So he goes, "I can't believe that this is the uh, most, what was it, the rarest 8 real coin that's ever been per, minute." And I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "The only problem is it's cut in half." And I said, "Well, still a nice coin." So he said, "If that coin wasn't cut in half, it would be worth probably $50,000." And I was like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool." So he was all amazed that he goes, "You're not even upset." And I said, "Well, what can I do with it? It's, I can't put it back together because I don't have the other half." But, it's, I never did this hobby for money, and I did it for the thrill and the adventure. And I started going to colonial sites because I wanted to find the oldest coins I could find. And I hunted, for regular, silver coins, and I found a lot of them. I hunted a couple World War II housing projects, and I got close to 1,000 silver coins out of those two places. And like Fort Belvoir, I got about 500 or 600 coins, silver coins out of there. My yard in Alexandria, I think I got something like 68 silver coins in that yard. And but over the years, I got bored with digging mercury dimes and regular silver quarters and stuff, and I wanted to find the coins that most people don't find. And so far, I've dug, I think it's 22 cut coins and 20 whole reals. But the last one I found was here in town, and there was a lot up the street, and it was one of those places where I used to walk by it every day to go to the post office, and there was an old house there from about 1900, but it's just something about the property, the way the trees and the bushes looked, that made me think that, there was something really old there. And one day I got a call from the guy that was living right next door, and he was a handicapped drunk guy, and I used to get him cigarettes at the store because he couldn't walk. His legs were really bad, and he was a pretty nice guy, but he had some problems with drinking. But he called me up on the phone, and he said that there was a guy that was looking at the property, and that he was having trouble finding the what was it, the sewer line, I think it was. And he wanted to make sure he could find that before he was thinking about buying the property. And so I came down there. I got there about 3 minutes after the other guy called, and had the Bliss tool. And guy was a builder, and he was going to build a house there that was going to be the final place where they stayed. And he actually had a house further south that he said that Mosby's Rangers had been on that site, and every weekend for years people showed up to try to hunt, and then eventually there was nothing more to be found, I guess, and they stopped coming. But so I found it, and then he was having trouble pinpointing where the plug was, and so I dug down with my entrenching shovel and uncovered where it was. So then he took a sledgehammer and knocked a hole in it, and then he stuck a camera in there and checked it out, and it was clear. So he turns to me and he starts reaching for his wallet, and he goes, "How much do I owe you?" And I said, "Well, I don't really don't want any money, but I would, I'd like to hunt the yard if you buy it. And he goes, done. He goes, that's a great deal for me. So after he called me about a month later, and he'd bought the property, and so I started hunting it, and I was finding wheat pennies, and I didn't even find a silver coin. And I let a couple other people. He said I could let other people hunt with me, and so I had this one guy up there, and I was walking along, and he was hunting near the sidewalk, and he dug a mint uh, Canadian $50. I think it was 1940. Just beautiful shape. And I think I only got, I think maybe 3 silver coins off that whole property. And dug a lot of wheat pennies, but just nothing spectacular. I think I got about 3 or 4 bullets, a couple of eagle buttons, and so I was kind of getting discouraged. I was thinking, man, it's just I'm hunting like crazy, and I'm just I'm digging some deep targets, but it doesn't seem to be much here. And so I'd hunted all day one day, and I looked over by the house, and they cut all the bushes down right next to the house. So I thought, I'll try along there. And I got this signal right off the bat, and I thought, man, that sounds good. It was just really sharp, and I could tell it was deep. So I opened up the hole. I looked down in the hole. I had it down about 8 inches deep, and I saw what looked like a cut coin in the bottom of the hole. And I thought, oh my God, is that a real? So I pulled it out, and it was a Ferdinand real, probably 1720s. And you could see where it had been holed at one time, and then it had been worn so much that the string or whatever they used had worn through and broken through the hole. And then when you were looking at it, where it was cut, they started cutting it, and if they'd cut it, the first cut they were started, it wouldn't have been even. It wouldn't have been straight up and down. It would have been slightly off. So then they started again, and they, and they cut it straight up and down. So that was pretty cool. And so a couple weeks later, he started, taking down all the bushes and stuff, and there was this one big tree there, and so he ended up knocking the tree down, and when he did, it pulled all the roots up out of the ground, and it was a hole about maybe 3.5, 4 feet deep, and probably about maybe 8 feet in diameter. And some of the dirt, when I walked up there the next day, I looked and saw it, and I started walking toward it, and happened to look down on the ground. There was a giant pewter spoon, and I found another one down in the hole itself. And I got a couple Tomback buttons. One was spun back, which was 1770s probably, and I dug 2 coins, and they were both really worn and kind of corroded. But I was able to. It took me months, but I kept working on them with brushes and stuff. And the first one was a 1785 King George III. And when I turned it over to see the Britannica on the back, it didn't have Britannica. It had the Irish symbol Hibernia, so it was a Hibernia coin. And the other coin was also a Hibernia, but it was a King George II. You could see the 2 little slash marks on it. And that one didn't have a date on it, but it was also Hibernia. So that was the only two Hibernias I've dug. I've probably dug a couple hundred large scents over the years, but that was a good spot, and it's still sitting there abandoned now, and we got it for sale, but it I don't know what's going to happen on that site, but I could just, I didn't even have to take my car. I could just walk down the street to it. But so, what do you guys think? You ever had any experiences like that, where you dug something really old? It was unexpected. All right, guys, have a good day, and give me some comments.